How do you portray an icon in just a few short minutes? You can't really. Aunt Kathleen was a feeling, an imprint on your memory, and for those of us lucky enough, your soul, because you don't encounter a woman like Kathleen and walk away unaffected.
She was the glowing ember and elegant flick of a cigarette, the first cool sip of a crisp white wine.
She was a one-liner that made your eyes go wide in shock and at the same time had you bent over laughing.
She was one of one, and whether you knew her for a lifetime or just shared a drink with her once, she was unforgettable, which tends to be the case for a woman of many facets.
She was strong, resilient, independent, and also witty, sassy, confident. These were the traits that emanated from her always, and you felt them immediately. Anytime she was met with adversity, she stared it right in the eye as if to say, I dare you. She always came out on top. She paved her own way and lived life on her own terms. She truly was a woman to be reckoned with.
But then she was tender, caring, selfless, deep, reflective, and thoughtful. Although she might deflect these qualities on the surface and wanted us to believe she was allergic, you'd catch her in the right moment, story, mood, and know this beautiful, ever-existing side of her. She laughed hard and loved harder, whether it was one of our babies on her lap, moments with her son Jay, or a friend at the table.
It was always evident in her love for her people, which she showed in her own ways. God forbid you called her to wish her a Merry Christmas or invited her over for Easter. She'd hang up on you. But when you got her around her nieces and nephews, she'd be glowing. She loved us all deeply, and we felt it always. For Aiden, myself, and our brothers, that love was a long time in the making. It began with our grandmother and our mothers. Kathleen, Joanne, Tina, and Cindy are kindred spirits and share a bond unlike most you ever come across.
Yaya and Kaki were soulmates, over 70 years in the making, who would find their way to each other when Yaya met our grandpa, Aunt Kath's older brother, Jimmy Robinson. From then on, they shared every phase of life together and laughed their way through it all. In 2012, my mom, Cindy, wrote the story of Mr. and Mrs. Joanne and Kathleen Robinson. And through her words, we offer a glimpse of the relationship that would set the standard of love, pride, fearlessness, strength, and twisted humor we as Robinsons emulate. Their body language, while they talked, paralleled the best of what they gave to us. They sat without vanity and spoke without pretense, their thoughts unedited. The ebb and flow of their conversation in sync. They had an invisible cue to bring it back up when they dug too deep. They catered to each other, but not too much. They showed concern, but not sympathy. They bitched, but only for a laugh. Perhaps when I was too young, I didn't realize the qualities that were woven into their conversation. Laughter was the thread, and in the end, the fabric was rich in color, worn and durable.
The loss of Aunt Kathleen is a void that cannot be filled, only honored. Her soul lives on in the fabric of her best friend, her nieces, and in turn it lives on through all of us, for we are all cut from the same cloth. For her nieces and grandnieces especially, we are proud to be women of her.
She never even came close to her ambition of being an airline stewardess. But she lived a life of adventure anyhow. Cheers to Kathleen and the endless pursuit of good times in this life and the next.